Like I said in my last video, y'all, sorry it took so long for these videos to come out, but I'm back now. And I appreciate everybody that's still here, everybody that wants to see these new videos. And I desperately want y'all to suggest me some new videos. I need some new content to react to. Just put them down below in the comments and I'll react to it. So let's get into this video.
Cynthia Murphy and Anna Chapman. One is a New Jersey housewife, and one is a model turned businesswoman. And they are both trying to get close to wealthy American men who have deep political ties. They're not very good at it. Despite one of them being a model, and
Let's
both manages to make
down.
Cynthia Murphy and Anna Chapman. One is a New Jersey housewife, and one is a model turned businesswoman. And they are both trying to get close to wealthy American men who have deep political ties. They're not very good at it. Despite one of them being a model and both manages to make high-up connections in New York City, they don't actually achieve their goal. It's not really clear who Anna wanted to get close to, but Cynthia was trying to make a connection with this guy who was a financial advisor to Hillary Clinton.
In regards to the woman known as Cynthia Murphy, she was trying to get close to Allen in the lobbying job. And we thought that this was too close to Hillary Clinton. So when you have the totality of the circumstance and we were confident we were able to get the cold cell identified, we decided it was time to shut down the operations.
But did they just want new sugar daddies? Of course not. They already had a sugar daddy worth $200 billion. And his name is Vlad. Maybe you've heard of him. Now, they got caught because they were actually spies, and the FBI had already been watching them for years at this point. This guy, Patrick Byrne, is a multimillionaire and former CEO of Overstock, and he doesn't like Donald Trump. He claims that he was involved in the federal corruption investigation into Hillary Clinton because he had a lifelong relationship with the government. Now, this FBI probe took place around 2016, and around the same time, Patrick, who was in his 50s, started dating Maria Butina, who was still in her 20s. And she totally wasn't a Russian spy who might have been using Patrick for his wealth and connections. Just kidding.
These niggas always get caught in photos. If you got that much money, bro, you shouldn't be in no photos. What do these niggas be thinking?
And she probably had the easiest mission, to infiltrate groups like the National Rifle Association.
By gender,
yeah, she could totally be a Russian woman without guns in her hands, but as soon as she picks up these guns, you wouldn't know if she was from Texas or Colorado. Honey trap. This is when either romantic or sexual relationships are used to gain information or influence over the target, whether this is for money or blackmail.
They're honeypotting us. It's an attractive spy woman who lures men into doing shit they're not supposed to do.
And it is most famously used by spies working on behalf of their country. It's nothing new at all. When Virginia Giuffre settled her lawsuit against Prince Andrew out of court in London, Andrew acknowledged that she was
Yo, bro, that nigga Prince Andrew is a fiend. This nigga got so much shit attached to him. That shit crazy.
When Virginia Giuffre settled her lawsuit against Prince Andrew out of court in London, Andrew acknowledged that she was, in fact, a trafficking victim of Jeffrey. But of course, he also stated that he didn't do anything. He just settled out of court for fun, I guess. Anyway, Virginia is no longer here. But when she was, she alluded to something very interesting that I've heard many people suggest over the years.
She got clapped.
She reposted a thread from Reddit on her Twitter where someone asked how likely it was that Jeffrey was some type of intelligence agent responsible for running a blackmail/honeypot ring to entrap very wealthy people.
She got
also
clapped.
adding that Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey's partner, was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a wealthy man who the British government suspected of being a double or even triple agent, as he had links to their intelligence agency MI6, the KGB in the Soviet Union, and oh boy, Mossad, a name I really don't want to mention too many times because if
hey bro, I don't even want this shit in my video. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. They is clapping shit for real. You know how that go on my side, man. When you got them type of connections, bro, them people ruthless. You see what they doing out there in Palestine. We know what them people do, bro.
Where this is the intelligence agency of Israel, and they are quite possibly the most dangerous and effective intelligence agency in the world. They might
They're not the intelligence agency of Israel. They're the intelligence agency of the Zionist state.
even be better than the CIA at what they do. Now, aside from all the
They're the same thing.
very creepy stuff, Jeffrey does fit the description, or at least the Hollywood description, of some type of secret agent. You have a guy with what seemed like unlimited access to money. He had been a convicted sex offender since 2008, but this never hurt his business relationships with not just rich people, but multiple royal families. He didn't just hang out with Prince Andrew of the British royal family. The Crown Princess of Norway had to publicly apologize after meeting him on vacation because they hung out socially multiple times. That's such a normal thing to do, right? It's extremely normal to just meet a princess on vacation. This is the woman who will likely become queen consort of Norway one day. But anyway, what proof is there of him actually being a secret agent other than intense speculation? Well, none. But Ari Ben Manash said he was. Who is Ari? Well, he's a former Israeli intelligence agent. He wasn't in Mossad, but he was a part of Amman, which is part of the three-headed monster that is Israeli intelligence. And in 2019, a book was written and released by 3 authors who conducted an interview with Ari Ben Manash where he stated that Ghislaine introduced Jeffrey to us and that he
It's amazing how many of these, I guess you would say, whistleblowers come out and talk about this shit, but nobody even pays attention to it. Like, these points don't get emphasized enough, especially in American media. American media just gets sensationalized. Of course, the main point is that he trafficked a lot of women. Many of them are underage. But a lot of this shit is important as far as him dealing with foreign intelligence and specifically with the Zionist state. Bro, that shit matters, bro. Considering especially what they're doing right now, like, bro, that shit matters.
Conducted an interview with Ari Ben Benash where he stated that Ghislaine introduced Jeffrey to us and that he wanted to be accepted as part of their group. Now, he was vague about who us is and what group he meant, but he went on to state that Jeffrey wasn't really competent enough to do very much. So they, assuming he meant Jeffrey and Ghislaine, found their own niche, which was blackmailing American and political figures. And he ends the quote calling Jeffrey a simple idiot who went around providing girls for all kinds of politicians. And he even specifically states that one of Jeffrey's activities was providing underage girls for people, photographing them, and then using it as blackmail. And according to Vicky Ward, a journalist who worked with the New York Post and Vanity Fair, Jeffrey would also go around boasting about his time in intelligence circles. And of course, none of this is able to be verified since you either have to believe the intelligence agent or not, and as for what Jeffrey told other people off camera, we'll never know. But being involved in something like this and then bragging about it would support Ari's claim of him being an idiot. But this would also explain why he would have been so comfortable doing what he did. Like I said, he had been a registered offender for over a decade by the time he died. Surely, it would have crossed his mind that he was being watched by some type of law enforcement, whether it was the local police in Florida, where he caught his first case, or the FBI who kicked in his door in New York. But to keep operating as if he couldn't be touched does make it seem as if he thought he had some type of assurances that he wouldn't get into any serious trouble. I mean,
also the billions of dollars, that matters too.
The case he caught in Florida with the 14-year-old girl, okay? He was sentenced to 18 months for this serious sex crime. In Florida, most people accused of the same crime get sent to state prison. But can you guess what Jeffrey's punishment was? Not only did he get housed in a private wing of the sheriff's office, but for 6 days a week.
From what I heard, he walked in there like he was the boss man. I think he turned himself in. I believe he turned himself in and offered money to the sheriff's office. That's what I believe happened.
What Jeffrey's punishment was. Not only did he get housed in a private wing of the sheriff's office, but for 6 days a week, he was allowed to leave and go to his office for 12 hours a day, where he would get picked up by his private driver, only having to return to jail at night to go to sleep. And he was released 5 months early. On probation, after his release, not only did he travel between his homes in Palm Beach and Manhattan, but they also let him fly his private jet to the island, the Epstein Island. This is not how the Florida legal system works. In fact, if you just search the case of any other guy that was convicted of the same crime in Florida, you will get very different results. Like this guy in Tallahassee that was convicted of the exact same crime, he got sentenced to 15 years, followed by 10 years of probation. And did I mention that before Jeffrey was sentenced, the FBI had prepared a 53-page indictment against him because they had a list of more than 30 underage girls on it. But the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida, Alexander Acosta, gave him immunity from federal prosecution, which was illegal. So, it should be no surprise that Donald Trump gave him a promotion during his first term and made him the U.S. Secretary of Labor. But another quote from Vicky Ward about Acosta's decision states that Alexander Acosta had been told to back off because Epstein was above his pay grade, and that he belonged to intelligence. And this would be the only explanation that makes sense as to why he was cut such a deal. So as you can see, he appears to have had some type of leverage that granted him immunity. But the words of Ari Ben Benash imply that instead of working directly for some foreign government, Jeffrey was actually more like a contractor who had his own thing going on that could be useful as intelligence if they ever needed it. But this also implies that he would have been doing
plausible deniability. We know what the fuck was going on. He was on y'all payroll. Let's be real with you. Let's be real with it. We know where the loyalties lie. As far as I understand, he had passports to the Zionist state. And when he died, the Zionist state actually... Well, I'm not going to say that. That might get me in trouble.
Had his own thing going on that could be useful as intelligence if they ever needed it. But this also implies that he would have been doing his thing whether he was connected with intelligence or not. But unusual leniency...
See, that's cap. That's cap. He had everything he did everything he did knowing that he had the backing of the Zionist state and the American intelligence community. He knew that.
But this also implies that he would have been doing his thing whether he was connected with intelligence or not.
Cap.
But unusual leniency has been a running theme throughout his entire life. Like, for instance, he was a physics and math teacher at a private school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan as a college dropout. He somehow was a teacher without a degree. And it was allegedly not long after this when he mentioned to some people that he was an intelligence agent. And like a James Bond villain, when his safe was raided by the FBI, they found a pile of diamonds and fake passports, which he had for a while. Now, as for his connection with Miss Maxwell, she is obviously just no regular lady. She grew up in Headington Hill Hall, which you know is a big-ass house when it has its own name. And her father is pretty much confirmed to have been working with British intelligence since they believed him to be a double agent working with another country. And he fits the bill. He was a war hero who was awarded the Military Cross after he stormed a German machine gun nest in 1945. And for some reason, when he died, despite having never lived in Israel, he was buried in Jerusalem and the Prime Minister of Israel spoke at his funeral. And just as a note here, Elon Musk knows something as he's been pictured with Maxwell as far back as 2014, but Maxwell and Epstein's relationship is somewhat of a mystery as there are even multiple conflicting accounts on how they met. And this will likely stay a mystery, but what is clear is that her father was somehow involved in intelligence, and it's probably not a coincidence that they did meet. But it appears that whatever upper hand they had died with Jeffrey. But who knows? Ghislaine has only been in prison for 3 years, so she could very well be out before the whole 20 she was sentenced to serve. But if Epstein was an intelligence asset, it wouldn't surprise me at all, as he definitely lived the life of a James Bond villain. And remember, James Bond was not just a fictional character made up by some guy with an active imagination. Ian Fleming, the guy that created Bond, was himself an intelligence agent. But let me know what you guys think.
Wow.
Thanks for watching as always.
I didn't know that. But man, that shit crazy, ain't it? That shit crazy, the timeline we're living in. Of course, if you knew that shit back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, this shit don't surprise you now. It's coming into light now. Everybody knows it now, but back then, people like me we already knew that type of shit was happening. But anyways, thank you if you made it this far. I appreciate it. Links down below. Check out my Discord. Please join my Discord. I'm running up my Patreon soon, so I'll be updating that. Please suggest some videos down below. Let me know what you think about this video down below, and we'll be on to the next video. I appreciate y'all for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, bye.